changing your entire life. It's high school, a public high school.
Yeah, no, I know. It's anything to get those eyes.
-1 on Cooper Flag there.
And my prediction was exactly what happened.
Getting hit by pitches 13 separate times.
Ooh, unlucky.
I was sitting there, I was talking to one of my friends, and he's like, are you going to open up and say that Ottawa 6-7? No.
Lots of sloppiness and lots of just like, are we kidding?
So we're talking Big 12 Player of the Week.
I don't know. I guess we'll see.
See, that goes to show you how much I know about the NFL.
And they somehow let J.J. McCarthy pull that one back.
You're listening to the Scoutin Session on Blaze Radio. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the Scoutin Session. The Scoutin Session brings you up to speed with rising sports stars featuring standout performances from young athletes at the professional level. Thank you all for joining us yet again this Monday. My name is Ella Walter-Sanchez, and as always, I'm joined by
Jordan Talley.
And Noah Reed.
So, I feel like it's only right to start out with Jordan's amazing weekend. For those who have, been avid listeners or know Jordan or follow any of us on social media, you know Jordan's obsession with Gavin McKenna, and I'll let you take it away.
Well, Gavin McKenna had his NCAA debut this weekend in Mullet Arena for Penn State, and I was in the house for both games. I've gotten the privilege to be on the coverage team for Blaze Radio for hockey. So Friday night, I witnessed Gavin McKenna's NCAA debut, and it was pretty awesome to finally see him play in person. I know I've literally been talking about him for like a year now, I think, which is crazy to think about. But I've never got a chance to see him when he played in the dub, and now that I saw literally his first time stepping onto the NCAA ice. It was just awesome. And yeah, super cool guy in the press conference. So the one thing about hockey players is they're known for not really having a personality. He did, so that was always a bonus. So yeah, it was just an awesome weekend. And then ASU was retiring Joey DeCord's number, who he is another one of my favorite athletes. He's the starting goalie for the Seattle Kraken. He played at ASU until 2019, and he kind of started the whole be the tradition motto. Not started it, but he really embodies that, and that's what he was talking about at the press conference and what Coach Greg Powers had to say after the game as well. So it was just an amazing, surreal weekend, and I couldn't have asked for anything better. So.
No, I was so excited when you texted us and seeing it. It's just, that's what it's all about, really, when you're covering sports. You try your best not to fan out, but it's still, you do have your people that you idolize and the teams that you love, and getting to see them. Not just, you weren't just there, but you were covering it, and you got to, ask him a question in the presser, and that's just so amazing, and I was so happy to see that for you, so had to talk about that.
I was freaking out a little bit, so.
Yeah, it was so much fun to be able to look on, I'm getting the live tweets, and I'm just refreshing and waiting to see what the scores are, because it was an insane game.
Oh.
The game.
Don't get me started on it.
I won't go down the rabbit hole, but the game looked fun from my Twitter feed. And then to see your stories pop up on Blaze in the sports section. If you haven't already, folks, you got to go Blaze Radio Sports Articles. You can find the amazing work of Jordan Talley on there.
Stop. But, yeah.
Anything else happened for anybody this weekend? No?
I was trapped at Mullet all weekend, so that was me.
It was great to see ASU move up a little bit, even though we didn't play at all.
A little disappointed BYU's ahead of us now, but I'll live.
Yes, hopefully we can live up to.
We'll see. I feel like they should beat Utah, but they haven't really been as good as they should be this season, so
we'll see.
Are you guys going to watch the game this weekend?
Well, yes.
I'll try to watch it. So
yeah, I will be watching.
Did you see this was as of I don't know, an hour ago, they had released
TCU.
No,
I
not
mean Texas Tech.
Texas Tech.
Yep.
1 p.m.
1 p.m.
on Fox.
So could
We're just throwing it out there.
If
Game
Pat-
day in Tempe.
If Pat McAfee is in Tempe,
Oh my gosh.
I don't
I'm
even
literally
know.
out of town. Like, if that happens, I would actually cry. No offense.
Where are you going?
I'm literally out of town every single weekend in October, and I think that weekend is that would be next weekend, not this coming weekend, the weekend after.
The 19th.
I would be in Vegas for a concert.
It better be someone good.
It's for Lord. I'm really excited, actually.
Okay.
It's going to be really fun. But I would actually, if I missed that, I would be really upset. Like, that would be so frustrating. I'm not even kidding. But the concert's on Friday, so maybe
Oh, it's on Friday? Are you coming
Yes.
back Saturday?
Saturday.
Game time is 1 p.m. So, like,
I would wake everybody up early. I'm the one driving. I would wake everybody
Yes.
up early to make it here.
Be back in Tempe. I was just a TikTok popped up from last weekend when he was at Vandy and Nick Saban, Theo Vaughn. I was like, if there's game day in Tempe,
I remember when everybody thought this was going to happen last
we
year.
did also kind of project it yesteryear. Yeah, that's the right word. But it didn't work.
But ASU wasn't the powerhouse they are now. Like, they're not as widely.
I feel like we had more of a spotlight on us then, though.
But
we're
ASU's
definitely
supposed
better,
to be
yeah.
good now. So if Texas Tech is a top 15 team, ASU's a top 20 team, 25 team. I mean, they had it for Vandy and Bama. Like, let's be like, who I didn't even know
I'm
Vandy.
looking.
I didn't even know Vandy was in the SEC until this weekend. If I'm going to be so honest.
Well, I'm looking at where game day could be, and I'm gonna guess probably Ole Miss, Georgia, because that's 4-10.
Oh.
So this is probably better. Tennessee, Alabama, 12-8. So yeah,
Both of those are
tragic.
really-
People want Pat McAfee in Tempe, Arizona. That's what the people want.
Both of those are really good games.
They are really good games. That's true. But you know what? The weather is better here than you will ever have. It is. I walked outside this morning and
I
went,
was chilly.
"You're wearing a sweater. You're wearing a
know.
sweater or a
was.
sweatshirt, I guess."
I wore a sweater this morning.
Anyway,
Yeah, you came in. I think Ella came in. I like peeked over at her bag. And it looks like she has like a blanket. I was like, "Dang, Ella's getting ready to take a nap."
Yep.
Anywho.
No, it's peak weather, but we'll see. We'll check back in. Wait, no, I don't think we have a show next week. But anyway.
Yeah.
So anyway.
10 minutes of sidebar later.
Yeah.
Yes.
So for Who's on Deck this week, I decided to stick with the softball theme we have going on, and this week's Who's on Deck star is Jordy Ball. She's a senior right-handed pitcher at the University of Nebraska. She's the top prospect for the class of 2026 under Najee Kennedy. I know we all know her. She's, one of the top names, not one of the top names, like the top
she
name
is.
in college softball. Everybody knows her. She, back to Jordy. She grew up in Papillon, Nebraska, and has 3 siblings. She was the 2019 to 2020 and 2020 to 2021 Gatorade Nebraska Player of the Year, and the 2020 to 2021 National Gatorade Player of the Year, and this is in high school. She led her high school, Papillon La Vista High School, to 3 straight Class A titles and collected all-state honors all 4 years. In her senior year, she posted a 27-0 record with a .10. I have never heard of a .10 ERA, but a .10 ERA, surrendering just 27 hits and 15 walks in 137 innings pitched while striking out 316 batters, and that was in 2021. She was the number 1 prospect in her class of 2021, and she actually started out her collegiate career at Oklahoma in 2022, and as a freshman, she started in 24 games, appeared in 33 games for Oklahoma, and finished with a 22-1 record. She finished the season ranked 6th in the NCAA with a 1.09 ERA. She had 6 double-digit strikeout performances on the year. She threw her first perfect game against Cal State Fullerton in her freshman year in February 2022. A perfect game, for those who don't know, is preventing all opposition. There's 2 sort of good pitching a good game for pitching is either a no-hitter, which is way more common than a perfect game. A no-hitter is like in the name, there are no hits, but there may be like an error and somebody reaches the bag, or a walk, or a hit by pitch. In a perfect game, literally nobody from the other team touches a base besides home, obviously if you're batting, the entire game, and the same pitcher pitches the entire game, which the same pitcher pitching in the entire game in itself is like hardly ever happens, but a perfect game is like so insanely rare. But yes, that's what a perfect game is versus a no-hitter. It can get a little confusing, especially since perfect games don't really happen, but I was looking it up, and there's actually way more perfect games in softball rather than baseball. For some reason, the NCAA doesn't have a list of all of the softball perfect games. I was trying to find all the collegiate softball perfect games, but in like 2019, I think it was, there was like 20 for some reason, and I was so confused, but that is just not the same in baseball, especially not in MLB. I can probably think of like 3 off of the top of my head. Anyway, so her sophomore season, she was still at Oklahoma in 2023. She started 22 games with 33 appearances. In combination with her impressive mound stats, she also had a .406 batting average at the plate with 13 hits, including 2 doubles and 8 RBIs. She had 5 double-digit strikeout performances on that year. She threw 24.2 scoreless innings, including 30 strikeouts and only 12 hits allowed. In 2024, she transferred to Nebraska, but suffered a season-ending injury in her start against Washington and only pitched 2.1 innings before her injury. Before her unfortunate season-ending injury, she was one of 50 players named to the USA Softball Collegiate Player of the Year watch list and was ranked as the number 2 preseason player in the country by D1 Softball. And she returned this year and did not disappoint in her junior year and first full official season with Nebraska. She was the NFCA, or National Fast Pitch Coaches Association, D1 Player of the Year, NFCA First Team All-American, Big Ten Pitcher of the Year, First Team All-Big Ten, and more. She started 34 games as a pitcher, 13 at first base, 3 as a designated player, 3 in center field, and 2 in left field. So she was all around. If normally in baseball and softball, when a pitcher isn't playing, and when a pitcher isn't pitching, they do not play. But in her instance, it seemed she was essentially playing every single game, which is very rare. They like to save their arm, even if it's just, playing at first base, playing in the field. They like to save their arm in general. So the fact that she's able to do that and play all over the rest of the field is just impressive, and on a team like Nebraska. She was a 5-time Big Ten Pitcher of the Week and pitched her 4th no-hitter of her career last year. Hitting-wise, she had a 14-game hitting streak and had her first multi-homer game. And something that was interesting, she was also named the co-pitcher and co-player of the week in the same week after her performance at a Troy Cox Classic. So a very great player all around, not just a pitcher, not just a hitter, but defensively, obviously she can do everything very well. But I'm very interested to see, obviously she's coming up on her senior year, to see what her and the other top prospects, especially as the Athletes Unlimited League is growing, like we talked about last week, see if they decide to go that route, and see once that league starts to get more, sort of younger college players, because there are some, people in the league that played softball quite a significant time ago. So once they start to have a consistent influx of good softball players straight out of college, we'll see, how that changes the league. And I'm interested eventually if there will ever be like there is with baseball, where some people don't go to college and they just go straight to the league. But we'll see. I'm sure that'll take a very, 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 very significant amount of time. Yeah. But it would be interesting to see if that ever did happen. But very great athlete all around. And I thought her story was very fascinating. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, echoes resilience on so many levels. I went and, just quickly was like, oh, what was the injury? ACL, mid-pitch. Ooh. I don't want to, I'm like trying to, I don't even want to visualize that. But, I think going 2 weeks in a row on the softball, pipeline is really good. It shows, again, there is so much talent we can only highlight so much, but I think behind, Kennedy and then with Ball, like we're really touching on the fact that, like you said, the sport continues to grow and grow and grow, and would love to see the pipeline continue into that Athletes Unlimited League. Jordan, your thoughts?
She's playing a ton for
Yeah.
someone in baseball or softball, I guess.
Yeah.
You never ever see that ever. So that's a little crazy to me, especially if she can like keep up and be pitching all these games. And because like you said, like even you don't have a pitcher pitch the whole thing, let alone like all games in the series. So yeah.
Yep, pretty fascinating. But now I'll toss it to you, Jordan.
All right. Like we've kind of talked about, hockey season is in full swing. WHL is up. NCAA is up. The NHL starts tomorrow. So very exciting. Quick little updates of some of our previous talked about prospects here. We've mentioned Gavin McKenna. He had a 4-point weekend this weekend, 2 assists, or 3-point weekend, 2 assists in game 1 and a goal. Game-leading goal in Game 2. And then Braden Coots, who I think we talked about in the pilot of the show last year, has cracked the Vancouver Canucks' opening night roster. So he will be playing in the NHL for until maybe all season. I doubt all season because that's not really how developed players, work. He'll be playing in the NHL right now until further notice. So he'll be on the NHL, on the Canucks opening night roster I think they play on Thursday. And then Berkeley Catton, who we've also talked about, he also made the Kraken's opening night roster. So those were kind of the 2 big ones that I saw in the news today. But this week on Hit the Ice, I just want to quickly highlight Joe Aginla, the 2008-born 5'10" right winger hailing from Lake Country, British Columbia. His name is not new to the show, as Joe is the son of NHL legend Jerome Aginla and brother to the 6th overall pick of the 2024 draft, Tij Aginla. We've talked about Tij Aginla super early on last season. I think he was one of the first prospects I brought to the show, but I just thought it was really interesting. I didn't even know there was a third Aginla kid. I know there was Tij, and he has a sister who plays hockey. Did not know about Joe, so I was scrolling through the WHL stats today, and I saw him on there. I was like as in Jerome Aginla and Tij Aginla? Yes. He is entering his 2nd full season in the WHL with the Edmonton Oil Kings. He was chosen 12th overall in the 2023 WHL prospect draft. Last year, while he appeared in a lot of games, he didn't get he probably wasn't a lot on a playing time, probably a 3rd, 4th line guy. Still a super young kid, too. In 61 games, he had 16 points and 9 goals with 7 assists. So I'd like to see him get more involved this year. It's so cool. Like, the Aginlas are such a dynasty or legacy name in the NHL. Jerome was an absolute legend, and then Tij was super highly talked about going into the draft, and now he plays for Utah. So yeah, very excited to see what he can do and in his 2nd full season, because it is his technically third season with the Edmonton Oil Kings, but in the 2023-2024 season he only played 5 games, and in those 5 games he tallied a point per game with 3 goals and 2 assists. So super cool to see him. It'd be really cool to see him get involved, and just scouting reports. He's a hard, fast player, lots of puck maturity, and I'm really excited to be able to follow this lineage through every stage, kind of their professional careers. And Tij was super successful last year, and I was kind of not taken aback, but I was surprised. I didn't know there was a third one. So that's Tij. He's still super young, so he hasn't really done a ton of things. He's 17 years old. But I just am excited to see what this year holds for him. So
yeah, this is no Joe Schmo, as you were discovering when you did your research.
No, I just think it's crazy. I don't think I can think off the top of my head any duos from the NHL who has 2 sons playing hockey at this caliber. There's definitely been some father-son duos, but 2 is kind of a lot. And I think his daughter, I'm forgetting of her names, but Tish and Joe's sister is pretty good at hockey as well. So just a family affair there for the Iginlas. Iginlas. So yeah.
Well, I mean, I feel like that's really common with the theme is like the family affair.
Yeah.
We'll go into another one with the racing roundtable here because 15 years old, Ty Fredrickson, piloting his number 36 Super Late Model, won the 2024 Kawicki Driver Development Program Championship. We touched on this a little bit last year. It was ultimately Fredrickson who took it home, and now he's at 16. The Webster, Minnesota native has kicked it into a different gear, guys. In addition to his KDD title, Fredrickson earned Rookie of the Year honors in the ASA Midwest Tour prior to the breakout season in 2024. And then 2025, Fredrickson had slowly been amassing late model accolades and, of course, getting into different forms of racing, including a Young Lions Legends win at Echo Park Speedway in 2023. And like many of the drivers we highlighted in the past, and like many of the other sporting families we've touched on in the past, this guy comes from a racing background. His father, Dan Fredrickson, was one of the most consistent competitors on the short track, seen from the 2000s and to the 2010s. That resume boasts ASA Midwest 15-time winner and 2 championships in that division. Then, in addition to the Midwest schedule for Ty in 2025, he also joined the ASA Platinum program, which I had heard about this, and I finally actually took the time to research that. Sorry, guys. ASA is big deal on the East Coast, but we don't really have ASA out here. Our closest comp is the Cars Tour West, which has grown a lot. But it provides the value of $65,000 to these teams, which is a lot. It's kind of an incentive program to say, hey, we'll give you some help if you run the full season. So it kind of guarantees field sizes across the different races. Now, as for Fredrickson, this season he's collected 2 wins in 7 races and trails Gabe Summers, whom we mentioned last season on the show, in a title fight, but has actually competed in 2 less features. You think he's 221 points out, and despite missing 2 races, that's actually really, really impressive. He's mixing up with the national tour as well for the ASA Stars Series. He's 14th in points and a cavalcade of champions like Derek Thorne, Bubba Pollard, Cole Butcher. These are guys who have, been tried, true, and tested. And then earlier in the year, Venturi Motorsports, which is a staple of the Arca Menard Series, tapped the young man to drive the number 25 at Elko Speedway, which is home track, which I can't even imagine when a guy or a program like Venturini Motorsports is like, hey, you want to drive at your home track and make your debut? Like, at 16 years old, like, imagine what's going through your head. And, well, he's got a clear one because 4th was the qualifying effort and 4th was the finish for Fredrickson in the 250-lap event. He returned to Elko this September for the prestigious Thunderstruck 93, defeating Jacob Goad and Casey Johnson for the victory. His next race is going to be at Winchester Speedway's prestigious 400 lapper on October 11th, which is coming up quick. One last note on Fredrickson, though, that I think is just so cool. He recently posted on all of his social media platforms, guys, about 10-year-old Maverick Schilling. Maverick was hospitalized after undergoing brain surgery and will need about 6 to 8 weeks before he can even do kind of like these daily activities that we consider like routine, and then up to another full year before he's actually fully healed. And, from reading about Maverick, he just loves racing, and he needs the community, the racing community in particular, to help with getting proper treatment. Ty shared the story and hosted a raffle to raise money at the Thunderstruck 93 weekend, but there's still a lot more work to be done. Head to Ty's social media for more info about how you can help Maverick make a full recovery. But yeah, it just shows that this is a 16-year-old kid who is not only very talented in what he does, but he also is very aware of what's going on within his community. He has a pulse on what's going on and around the racetrack, and just, being willing to take a bit of time to raise money via raffle and to raise awareness is really, really cool.
Yeah, no, it's amazing to see what, he did in the power of community, not just in racing, but in sports in general. And it's crazy that he was the youngest winner in program history. And I was just curious, like, the second place driver at that development program championship, and the second place driver was 24 years old, and he lost to a 15-year-old.
Oh yeah, I forgot to mention he's the youngest winner in Kawicki driver development program history, and that has been around for a while.
Yeah, and that's crazy. Like, that is a 9-year difference. Like, wow. Not trying to dog on Derek Gulachaki, the 24-year-old. But that is just, it's just incomprehensible. And it's still, like, every single time we talk about, like, these, 15-year-olds, 12-year-olds, whatnot, I say it every time, and it's so repetitive, but it still blows my mind, because at 15 years old, I was never even behind a wheel. Like, I mean, I guess go-karts, but other than that, like, and, you're beating out people 9 years, you're elder
with more
at
racing experience, too.
More funding, more everything.
The thing, too, I feel like about racing is so much of obviously you have to have the talent, but so much of it is age and experience, how you deal with certain situations. Like, you see that in F1 all the time with rookies making these dangerous, almost like overtakes or whatnot. But all that just comes to experience. And, like, to wrap this up, it's just, I mean, you just talked about it. Sports, not even just racing, run so deep in families in these lineages. And I think it's so cool to kind of see, oh, this is the son or the daughter of some really, really awesome athlete. I want to see, follow them, how they go. And I think that's one really, really cool thing about sports.
I agree. Well, that's all for us. Thanks for joining us and listening to today's edition of the Scoutin Session. My name is Ella Walter-Sanchez, alongside
Jordan Talley
and Noah Reed.
Thanks for listening, and we'll see you next week.